Hallo ihr Lieben, noch 1 Minute bis 20 Uhr. Kann mir jemand was in den Chat schreiben, damit ich sehe, ob es funktioniert? So. Hallo. Ja, perfekt. Ich schreibe euch auch mal was. Könnt ihr das lesen? Da ist jetzt ein einfaches Hallo. Perfekt. Perfekt. Vielen, vielen Dank. Schön, schön, schön. Supi. Ich habe mein What is up, Guys Shirt an. Für alle, die jetzt nicht schon seit 8 Jahren auf YouTube unterwegs sind. Das ist das, was Ben Peterson immer sagt. Das ist sein Spruch. Und ja, darum soll es halt auch gehen. Und schon sind wir im Thema. Das war mal eine geile Überleitung. So, also, Kinders. Das ist das Knafs. Also, ich zeige euch lieber nochmal was anderes, weil ich habe nämlich gerade gesehen, dass ich euch schon halb auseinandergebrochtes gezeigt habe. Also das ist das Knafs. Ne? So. Länder. Ich fange direkt mal mit den unromantischen Fakten an. 16,2 Zentimeter Gesamtlänge. Das erste Knafs-Messer, das erste Messer von Ben Peterson, was den Namen Knafs trägt, weil die anderen, ihr könnt ihr euch erinnern, sind Designs von Ben Peterson, aber gefertigt von V&CV, wie da steht, dann natürlich was anderes drauf. Das ist jetzt ein komplett eigenes Design, ging los mit einer Kickstarter-Kampagne. Genau, ihr habt hier 7,7 cm Klingenlänge in etwa. Die ist natürlich schön schwarz. Der Clip ist natürlich jetzt wieder der schöne dunkle Hintergrund. Und der Clip ist auch bei dem blauen ist er dunkel gehalten, umsetzbar. Da seht ihr, habt ihr so eine, anders als bei anderen Messern ist das gefüllt. Seht ihr das? Diese Clip-Ausbauung. Und damit könnt ihr den Clip umsetzen. Hat einen Liner-Lock. Na? Braucht immer noch ein bisschen Übung. Ist natürlich jetzt schwer zu sehen mit der schwarzen Hardware in der dunklen KnifeLounge. Ich versuche das mal mit meiner Hand so dahinter. So. Ja, das wirklich Besondere an dem Messer ist und warum Ben Peterson diesmal nicht mit V&CV zusammenarbeitet, sondern mit QSP, ist, dass ihr die Schalen einfach demontieren könnt. Und Felix und ich haben das vorhin schon getestet. Das heißt, dieses hier hat hier normalerweise, hat hier normalerweise auch so eine Clip, so ein Lochfüller. Den haben wir demontiert, das heißt 2 Schrauben, diese Schraube und diese Schraube haben wir demontiert. Und dann seht ihr, das ist so eine Art, die 10-Scale ist wie so ein Overlay geformt. Das heißt, ihr habt hier quasi so eine Konstrukt drunter, dass das nochmal das ganze Messer ist. Da seht ihr auch nochmal die hintere, an der hinteren Griffschale, dass sie halt so ein bisschen übersteht. So, einfach aufgesteckt. Das heißt, ihr müsst weder die Pivotschrauben demontieren und noch alles wieder einstellen und ja, draufgesetzt, abgenommen, fertig. Dazu gibt es auch noch die Dateien von Ben, dass ihr die selbst drucken könnt mit einem 3D-Drucker. Ich selbst habe absolut keine Ahnung, wie das funktioniert. Das ist Magic für mich, aber ich bin super gespannt, was ihr daraus macht. Messer und Burrito, was ich euch gleich noch zeige, gehen am Mittwoch online. Und ich fürchte fast, dass die Sachen sehr, sehr schnell ausverkauft sind. Und von daher möchte euch jemand zeigen. Hi!
Maxi! What is up, guys?
Great having you here.
I'm so excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Wow! I'm just showing your...
The lander. Yes.
Yeah. And I just made it, you know, it's really an easy option.
Yes, it is. It is. And you're dropping it in Europe when? When does it go live?
Wednesday, in 2 days at 6 p.m. So 6 p.m. is 10 a.m. in your time.
Perfect. I'm so excited, Maxi. Everyone keeps asking me, where can I get it in Europe?
Yeah.
And I keep saying, go get it from Maxi because you're the place.
So I just switched to German for a minute. So für alle, die uns auf YouTube schauen, Andi, liebe Grüße an Andi, er übersetzt das alles simultan, was Ben sagt. Also wenn es euch zu schnell geht mit dem Englisch, schaut gerne, was Andi schreibt. So I'm just switching back to English, and I just said that there's Andy in a YouTube chat who is translating everything what you are going to say. So
perfect. I tried to learn German before the live stream and it didn't work very well. Okay, let's try this. Was ist los, Jungs? Huh?
Yeah. Was ist los, Jungs? That's perfect. It's pretty good. You have the Ben Blue earpods, right?
Yes, I do. No, thanks for having me on, Maxi. Somebody in your chat asked, how do you look so fresh after a weekend of Blade? I don't feel fresh at all. I'm very, very tired, but I'm excited to be here and I'm grateful for the opportunities. So do you want to dive in? I think it sounds like you already talked about the lander a little bit. You want to talk a little bit more about the design and the philosophy behind it?
Yeah, of course. I just mentioned the facts like the length and the fact that what you can do with it. But we just started, so feel free.
Cool.
So
perfect. And if the chat needs to, if I'm talking too fast and we need to slow down the chat so that we can translate, please let me know. Okay, so this is the lander, and Maxi already talked about the different scales and how it works. Basically, I wanted to be able to swap the scale super easily. So I also made the CAD file open source. So like there's a pink one. We came out with a white one. This is what's in my pocket today is the white one, and I've done some laser engraving on it. You'll like this, Maxi. I know you're a moon fan, but it says keep going on one side and then to the moon on the other. So just I love space. You probably love it more than I do, Maxi, but I love outer space. I love the idea of just this grand adventure of sending humans to somewhere they shouldn't be and bringing them home safe. I love it. So anyway, we came out with a whole bunch of scales for the lander. We've got pink. I had a purple one here somewhere. Natural. So one came out with purple and brown. There's brown, purple. But basically what I wanted to do is create this open source platform where anybody could make their own scales. So you can actually go on my website and you can download the scales. If you have a 3D printer at home, you can print your own. So there's a machining file and there's a printing file, 3D printing file, and you can make your own. And if you want to make them and sell them, I don't care. It's kind of like the moon. The moon belongs to everyone, and I wanted these to be open source Creative Commons. So that's kind of the lander. D2 steel, it runs on ceramic bearings, 2.7 inch blade length, passes the finger test. Is it an STL format? Yes, it is an STL format as well as the step file. So definitely you can download it and use it. So great. What do you want to know, Maxi?
So I want to know, I mean, I have read on your Kickstarter campaign that you have started with just a scribbling on a Zoom call. And yes. I mean, it's not a 3 month period to create a knife. It was more than a year, wasn't it? It was just...
Yeah. In fact, let me grab the scribble. So I used to work for a company doing Amazon brand management, and so I was on calls like all the time. And I realized like I was just getting frustrated, like kind of hating it because like I was on Zoom calls like all the time. And one day I'm just sitting there. It was on a call with a company. We sold screws for them, like house screws. And I'm on this call and I just started sketching. Let me get that in frame. And you can see like it doesn't look like the lander completely. Let me get those at the same level here. But you can kind of see, oh, that's where it started, was right there in those scribbles. And I realized, I was like, oh, I should send this over to Wii, or I should make this a Civivi or whatever. But I realized like this needed to be my design. And so what I ended up doing, my process is I design in Illustrator, and then I do printouts of the pieces and glue them onto cardboard. So it's kind of like this really rapid prototype that I can bring in really quickly. So this was the original, and you can see that we had kind of this straight spine from spine to handle. And I just quickly realized like, it looks gross. And so once we got the actual knife in there, you can see that we curved that blade down to kind of follow the curve of the handle. Yep. And so that's sort of like the initial process. So once I nailed that down, I called up my friend TJ Swartz. He designs for CRKT and makes his own knives. And I called TJ. I'm like, TJ, I need some help, man. I need some CAD design. And so he did the CAD work on it. And this is the first 3D printed prototype of the knife. And this kind of got me a really good feel in hand. And we were pretty dang close. What I ended up doing, it just felt kind of skinny in the handle. So we ended up doing another print. And sorry, these are floppy. They don't have a lock on them. We ended up widening the handle just a little bit so that it would fit better in the hand. Kind of hard to see that, but I felt like this was just a little bit skinny. So we widened it a little bit. And then, so once I had this, this is where the fun kind of began, because I got overwhelmed and I got tired and I said, I can't do this. And so I kind of sat on it. So that drawing was January of 2021.
Yeah.
I don't think I actually got a prototype until November of 2021, which is actually really fast, but I probably could have had it done by like June of last year. But I just got so stinking tired, and I'm just like, because I was working the job, I was doing all of this stuff in the mornings, and I just said, I have to wait, and I have to take time and make sure this is right. Well, I'm glad I waited, because this wasn't supposed to have the fast swap scales. So this idea, as I was waiting, kind of came to me. I'd seen other knives do it, and I did the research. It's not patented. And I said, well, what if we made this knife with fast swap scales? And I'm really glad that I didn't just make the knife like this. It would have been fine, but I really feel like the fast swap scales and the open source CAD really make this knife something special compared to just another knife. So that's what I'm excited about on the lander. And I'm glad that we hit a nice price point. Like, I look at this as a very entry level knife, right? Like, it's D2 steel. It's not M390. It's not MagnaCut or any special steel. But if somebody's getting into knives, this is a jumping off point where you can really dive into it and understand knives. So let me see if I can do the chat here. I can't do the chat. Maybe somebody can find the link to the print. If you search for Lander CAD file, you'll be able to find it on my website.
Yes, I will add your files to my website too, and give them, and if it's not working, I will send a link. So we will do that. Yeah.
Good.
So So the swappable scales was not the primary idea from the sketch. It came later with the 3D printing, right? Great.
Yeah, so there's a knife called the CRKT Drifter, and if you're familiar with that knife, it's very inexpensive. It's got a G10 handle. It's a good knife. I don't have one handy at the moment, but just a great knife. And when I worked at CRKT, we just sold a lot of them. But
Yeah.
it has this recurved blade, and the pocket clip is tip down only. And
Oh,
I'm like, somebody just needs to change these little things and make it better. And so I think the Drifter was kind of the inspiration for this knife to make an inexpensive, really high quality knife that people could get into the hobby and be excited about.
yeah. And you find this QSP a company which could make your ideas become true. It's not an easy thing to make swappable scales, isn't it?
No, it's not easy at all because let me take this one apart real quick. What you have to do is it's nested liners. And so like when you look at a knife that doesn't have nested liners, sorry, I should have prepared for this a little bit more, but this will
What
work.
I am.
No, there you go. So let me show you this one. This is the Kaiser Comet, made by my friend Paul Colorful Filth. And you can see the it has blue micarta on top, and then it has the scale. This is a non-nested liner. So basically that scale sits on top of that piece of steel. It's not a bad way to do it, but your tolerances do not have to be quite as tight for a non-nested liner. When you're nesting that liner on the inside, it requires that your steel and your G10 be aligned in a way that everything works together. So not a it's one of those things that's not necessarily the most easy, but you do have to pay attention to it and make sure that it's right. So on the inside of this, you can see that there's an edge there. That edge fits right into that scale, just like that. And so that's the difference between, and a lot of knives, they don't make it swappable. So you actually have to make this pivot. I call the pivot a flow through pivot. So
Mhm.
basically, typically a knife will attach the pivot onto the scale right there. This is a flow through design. So it just comes right like that. So
It's,
yeah, it's a little bit more complicated of a process, and there's less room for mistakes.
yeah. So there's a question about like the scales for the baby banter. There are differences, aren't they?
Correct. Yeah. So let me show you an example here. Um, so I'm going to show these. These aren't for sale anymore, but you get the idea. This is the Wiimote scales that we did for the banter. But basically, these scales, the pivot comes over the top of it, and there's a little notch there that goes in like that. Baby banter's just like that. So when you take the knife apart, if you pull that pivot out, the whole knife will fall apart
Yeah.
in your hand. When you take the lander scales off, the whole knife stays together. It's almost like being able to swap the rims on your car without having to pull the tires off.
Got it. So I want to talk about another product from you, another new one. It's Burrito.
Yes, the burrito. Maxi,
So
I love the burrito. So this idea, so the first thing I do, like one of the first things I do when I get a new knife is I tear it down and take it apart. And what I realized is like it's really easy to lose your screws, your all of your accessories and hardware. So I made what you're seeing in Maxi's hand is the tool burrito. And in fact, I'm going to tilt my camera down here for just a minute so that we can have a little bit of workspace. Um, so basically, the way this works is it wraps up like this, and it latches there, and then you open it up, and you have all of your tools. Can everybody see this? Okay, let me move that just a little more. There we go. You have all your tools right here, and then on this side you have a teardown mat. So when you start working on your knife, you have a space to take things apart So I always lose things. Like I'll be working on spaces that are kind of messy or whatever. So you have space to take things apart and leave them there. And then the corners of the mat are magnetic. So when you take your lander apart, you can drop the screws on the corner and you don't lose the screws. And then you keep all of your tools over here. And this is actually my personal burrito. I can't show you that. That's a prototype. But this is from Scout Tools. This is their bit driver. And then I use, let's see, so I keep a T6 and a T8 in there, as well as our strop. So you can strop your knife right on here, one of our rulers. And then I just keep some blue Loctite and some more blue Loctite in there. And usually I have lube. I think I lost it at Blade Show, but I just like to keep everything in place so that I don't lose anything. And then when you're done working on your knife, once everything's all finished up, you just throw your tools back in place. So you got straps for all of them here. And you got pockets here. So like in the pockets, you've got a few scales and things. When you're done, you just fold it all up. Normally I wouldn't have pieces there, but we're just showing you. Fold it all up, and there's your burrito all latched. And you can throw it in a backpack. So like whenever I'm going to dinner with knife friends or lunch or whatever, I take this with me because before long, you know that somebody is going to disassemble a knife on like the restaurant table. And so like I'll throw it over all the silverware and all the plates and just like be able to show people what's going on. Somebody asked, does it come with hot sauce? The hot sauce isn't included, and it's extra for guacamole. So I'm sorry about that.
So we started to fill it up today as well. So what I really like about it is you have space for knives, and you have the big pockets here. You can even insert bigger stuff. You know, there is space from here to here. You can put there, you know, maybe some notes or something like that. Yeah.
Even like, so like if you have a work sharpener, you can throw that in the back of it just like that. And you can also just roll it up. It's going to get a little tight, but part of the reason I wanted the pull cord to kind of just have this nub on it is that allows you to just go through that loop, and then you can tighten it down. So if it starts to be a really fat burrito, you're all good. You have about 4 inches of extra space there to be able to wrap it. So it's a mobile workshop. Exactly. That's somebody on Facebook said it's a mobile workshop, and that's exactly what it is. Because like there are shop mats and silicone mats and these different things where you can work on your knives, but like and especially in Europe, you guys even have it worse. You don't have a lot of space. Historically, we lived in really, really small apartments, and I was always like working on my knives on the kitchen table. And this to me is a mobile workshop. It's a mobile workbench to be able to, even if you're watching TV or just hanging out, like you can throw this on your lap and have space to work on your knives. So.
Yeah. And just switch to German to answer the question about the price. There's das Länder wird 72 € kosten und der Burrito 44, aber ich werde alles nochmal hinterher in die Kommentare posten, dass ihr das nochmal seht. So, I have a very important question for me as a dealer. So just in case we got sold out within minutes or seconds, can we get more? Do you think, do you have some landers left and some burritos left for us?
Yes.
Or do we need to wait for months for a...
No, so we have burritos, so we can get you more burritos pretty soon, probably anytime you order. I think you just put in another order this morning or last night. So we have more burritos, and then we have more landers, but we don't have as many as we'd like. So it might be a little bit of inventory constraint for a minute, but we have a bunch on the way. So one of the hard things is my wife and I, we took Knafs full time in May, and we knew it was going to get a little crazy, but it sort of went like this, like this, and then once we launched the lander, so we're having to we run the business in our garage, in Utah in the United States. And so it's just picked up. Everything is moving really fast and people are like really excited. I'm like, how do I keep track of all of this? It's insane. So it's really fun, but it's definitely fast paced. And so like when you say, hey, when are you getting more? I'm like, well, let me check my spreadsheets, but we'll get them for you, Maxi.
Oh, that's great. Thank you so much. So we are a little bit over time, but I
Sorry,
think it's
I talked
great.
too long.
No, it's perfect. It's perfect. I think no one is no one is mad about it. And so thank you so much for being with us. And so, guys, if you have any questions, so I
And
think we got.
Axel, I'll tell Athena hello for sure. Good to see you.
Yeah, it's great. So, do you think we can or maybe a last question? Is there anything you can tell about? Do you have any ideas in your head for the next couple of months or next years? Or is this still a secret? It's okay if it is.
Well, it's still a secret. So one thing that the way my brain works, I'll just kind of tell you this, and that will help you understand. I like systems. So like we come out with the baby banter, we come out with a big banter, we come out with a regular banter. Sam, it's good to see you in the comments. So if you start thinking about that in terms of the lander, chances are we're going to come out with a little lander, a large lander. Like I like to build families. Same with the burrito, right? We have a strop, we have a ruler. Eventually, we'll sell this as a fully loaded burrito with things that we make. So let your imagination run wild with what I'm working on to fill up the burrito. There are things, pieces, and parts of this that I really want to. I want people to learn, right? So like our poster. Let me show you this back behind me, right there, right there. That's our Knafs poster. The whole goal of that is education. Like I want people to learn and understand. And I think the burrito is a big part of that. Like the lander, I don't void your warranty if you disassemble it. If you lose parts, we have a really good parts program. This whole idea that like I want people to enjoy their knives, but not just enjoy them, learn to maintain them and work with them and switch the scales out. Make your own scales. Like I think it's just so cool to be involved in all these pieces and parts. So that's kind of what's coming out, Maxi. I didn't tell you anything, but I told you where I'm going.
Yeah, and we are very excited to be a part of it. It's great for us. Thank you.
And I love working with you, Maxi. You're the best. Nice shirt too. I like it.
Yeah, thank you. And so I hope we see you soon. And I will keep you updated on Wednesdays, 6 p.m. and maybe 5 minutes later you will see me cry. We need more.
Hooray! Hey, thank you to everyone for watching. I wish I read German better. I keep seeing comments come through in German, and I don't have any German. Nope.
So I will translate a question. Is one of our YouTube viewers wants to know if we got scales too. And yes, wir werden welche bekommen in weiß und schwarz, also Griffschalen. Yes, we'll get some scales. Not all the colors Ben has shown you, but a lot of them. And in the next delivery, I hope we will get more and more and more, so we can. Sorry about that. So everyone can grow their lander family, even those who don't have a 3D printer. So thank you so much, and have a great week. Have a great afternoon.
Thank you. Danke. Is that how you say it?
Yeah. Tschüss.
Cheers. Thank y'all.
So, ich habe das, glaube ich, gerade so ein bisschen mit Englisch übersetzt, aber ja, wir werden auch Griffschalen haben. So, vielen Dank fürs Schauen. Wir sind jetzt ein bisschen drüber, aber ich denke, es war okay. Wenn ihr noch Fragen habt, Oder wenn das okay war für euch mit dem Deutsch, Englisch und wenn euch das gut gefallen hat, lasst es mich wissen. Ansonsten würde ich mich jetzt auch verabschieden. Ja, Mittwoch 18 Uhr gehen die Sachen online. Ich glaube, das habe ich jetzt alles gesagt. Ja, genau. Andi, vielen, vielen Dank fürs Simultanübersetzen auf YouTube. Das war echt toll. Und sonst bis bald. Achso, Synapse Minicore hat die Frage, habe ich noch nichts gehört, außer dass es die nächsten, ich glaube, diese Woche gibt es nochmal eine Ankündigung von Joseph Viro selber, wann es losgeht. Das heißt, wir werden sie vielleicht nächste oder übernächste Woche bekommen, wenn alles gut steht. Ja. Sonst sehen wir uns, hoffe ich, nächste Woche wieder. Tschüss!